Welcome to a Work With Me series here at Tweak Health. We're doing a special edition here on how to set up your home office, especially for those who are working from home with this self-isolation period. So I hope this video helps you, gives you some useful tips on how to actually set everything up correctly to reduce your neck and back pain. So I'm here today helping Darby set up her home office. So there's a few things to keep in mind here. Her office space here has actually got a fixed desk, so we can't actually move the desk height, but that's a really important thing when you're setting up your office. And then the other things to think about is the right chair and then the height of everything. So today I'm going to set up a few things and then we'll make some changes using what she's got, and then we'll see how she feels at the end. So I'll just show you guys how Darby is sitting normally. So Darbs, if you just normally, like, you just pretend you're back at work, and we'll just see your posture right now and see how we're going with that. So at the moment with Darby, I'd say that I'm not too happy with the fact that her chair isn't really helping her back at all. So and her whole posture, as you can see, it's almost like a forward curve. So her neck and her shoulders are all coming forward, and also on top of that, her forearms are resting on the table, which is actually not ideal because that means that everything wants to then slump over forwards, and it actually puts more pressure on your wrist. So we're going to start off with making some changes first. So we're going to lift up her monitor height and actually put some books under there, both computers, actually her laptop and her monitor screen, just to get that the right height. Okay, so if you just lift up the monitor for me, Darbs, we'll stick this underneath. So ideally, you'd want your monitor to be the same, the top of your monitor screen to be the same height as your eyes. So when you're looking straight ahead, you should actually be seeing the top of your monitor, so that when you are able to relax your gaze, it should hit the center of the screen. Okay, so then the next thing we'll do, so that looks much better. How's that feel, Darbs? Do you feel like you're looking straight at the screen, so that the distance between your eyesight and the screen should be about 30 centimeters. Then we're going to work on lifting up the laptop. Now, Darby tells me she doesn't really use this too much, so just a little bit higher would be good. Obviously, you want it to be ideally, the two screens should be the same height, but because she doesn't use it too often, it's not a big deal for us to make them exactly the same height. And now the next thing we want to look at is how she's sitting and fix the posture. So it's all well and true to have the setup correct down here, but if the person sitting is not actually in a good posture, then it doesn't matter. You're still gonna get some neck and back pain. So because her chair actually doesn't remove it, okay, her chair armrests do not come off, and actually when you're choosing an office chair, there's a few things you need to look for. Number one, you want to make sure it rolls, so it needs to be able to move and not be fixed. That's the first thing. So ideally 5 legs that all have wheels attached to them. Then adjustable height, so it can go up and down. So Darby's chair does tick those 2 boxes. It has wheels and the height can be adjusted. But what it doesn't tick the box is the armrest cannot be adjusted and it can't be removed. Now that's really important because the armrest, as we can see here, if we try and get Darby close to the table, it's just going to hit. So there's going to be a limit on how close she can get to her desk and therefore to her screen. So being too far away is going to affect your posture alignment, because otherwise you're going to have to start compensating by slouching forward. So having a chair without armrest is the best, but if not, the second best is an adjustable height armrest. Then the other things you want to look for is the seat tilt. So the seat should ideally tilt forward and backward and be adjustable. So Darby's doesn't have that, but what we've done is we can actually, and if your chair is the same, get a rolled up towel or a cushion that you can kind of like roll up, and I'll get you to pop that sort of under your tailbone, so it's quite far behind in the back half of the chair. And then what it is going to do is actually force your bum to kind of tilt upwards, so that your hips tilt forwards. And the purpose of that is to actually stop you from rolling backwards, where your back is now in a slump. So this way, we're actually increasing the curve here, because she's now tilted forward in her pelvis. Her back is going to be in a gentle arch. And that's going to encourage a normal S-shaped spine in the curve, rather than being a C-shape. And that's how people get lower backs from sitting too long, and that puts pressure on your discs as well. How's that feel, Darby? Do you feel like a bit more stacked up?
Yes.
But again, look down here, she needs a bit more support in her upper back. So that's another spot where I feel like a lot of people get pain in that middle back. So what we've done, because she doesn't have any posture cushions, you can actually roll out a towel again or a cushion, and I've just wedged it under her back here. So now you can relax into dogs and then just see if you can sit. So now, if she slouches, she's going to have that support in the upper back, because I mean, you can't really sit up straight for like hours on end. That's not normal. We're not designed to be doing that. So at some point you're going to be tired. So it's best to have something to support that top curve. So now you've got a support from the bottom around under your tailbone, and you've got support in the middle of your back. Now how's that feel, Darbs? Does that feel different to you?
Yeah, better.
So what we've done there is changed up the supports to compensate for a chair that doesn't give her the back support and the seat tilt. So we're happy with that now. And I'm looking down at Darby's legs, and she's actually looking fairly 90-degree angled with her knees and her hips. So I don't actually need to give her a footrest. But if you've got like a chair that's too high and your feet can't reach the ground, then you should have a little stool or a pile of books or boxes underneath your feet, just to lift up the weight of your legs so it's not dragging down on your pelvis and then your back. So if you maintain that support under your feet, that's going to put the weight back a little bit more into your pelvis, but also, you know, balance the pressure into your legs. So happy with that. Now I'll just get Darby to put her hand on her mouse and just work like she normally does, and we'll just have a look at her wrist posture as well. So looking here, she's actually looking much better now that we've pushed the chair as close as we can to her desk. She's actually looking more straight and not so curved like when we first started, so I'm quite happy with that. So the only thing I'll now get Darby to do is maybe, Darby, if you just lift your forearms and relax your fingers. So when you're typing and using your mouse, you actually want to be hovering your forearms. Beautiful, Darby. You want to be hovering your forearms off the table, so it's not actually resting and then putting a lot of strain on your wrist. So this way you're actually using your shoulder muscles to hold up your arms, and then you're being able to type it up, like stressing the nerves and the other sensitive structures in your wrist. And that's how people get de Quervain veins and carpal tunnel and very similar wrist problems. So same thing for using the mouse. When you put your hand on the mouse, you want to be relaxing the arms but holding it at that nice roughly 90-90 angle, where she's close enough to the desk that she hasn't to reach too far, but having it in and then relaxing the fingers just so she's not stressing out her wrist. Awesome. So I think from where we've got, I think we're pretty much done blitzing Darby's little workstation. Does that feel any different to when we first started, Darby?
Just a bit.
So when we first started, Darby was basically sitting about a meter away from the screen with her arm reaching out for the mouse. So it's quite different. So, I mean, the true test is seeing how this person goes for a day or two working on this in this sort of environment that we fixed up, and seeing what is comfortable. And sometimes there are new muscles that are being worked here and it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but if you then quickly adjust over that and you feel better, then I would say keep that set up. But if you're feeling like you need to tweak it, then you might just need to play around with the height of everything and, you know, the seat angles, or actually maybe replace the chair with a better one. But these are my main tips. So looking at the height of everything, how close you are to your workstation, and then looking at your chair as well. Okay, so I will maybe leave it there for today. Give those a go, and I'd love to hear some feedback on how you guys went setting up your own home offices. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time. See ya.